Hello, my name is Juan, and today we're gonna be building a...
It's just a bunch of shit in a bag. It's not even labeled or anything. I've never seen this from like a machine that you gotta build yourself. Anyways.
People think you need a factory, expensive machines, or a lab to make real electronics. Well, you don't. Today I'm making a printed circuit board at home with simple tools, patience, and a bit of science. This isn't just about making a PCB. It's about understanding how electronics are physically born. Well, let's build one from scratch. The machine that we'll be using is a 3018 CNC. It was $120. It's not perfect. It needs a little work, so let's get to it. If you can see right here, my limit for my axis is actually not touching anything, so my computer can't know when to stop or how far is too far. So for that, I'm 3D printing this adapter. Okay, I just installed the switch and I'm gonna test it. I just turned it on. It's not moving. Oh, look, the spindle. That was an accident. Why is it not moving? What am I controlling? Okay, that's confusing. There you go. I got it. I got the hang of it. Now, if you listen, machines can talk. You just have to listen to them. Okay, the machine now can home itself. It knows where it is. And I already went ahead and installed a PCB copper clad so I can start engraving and testing. I cannot emphasize how annoying this is. Look. This is KiCad. KiCad is helpful because you can take your already existing schematics and turn them into something digital. Now, this is FlatCam. FlatCam is useful for turning all those digital schematics into machine language. So, whenever I want to print them, my machine will know what's happening. Last but not least, we have Candle. This software controls my machine, and if I feed it instructions, it will print them. Therefore, it can draw anything on it. So now that we render the sign through KiCad, FlatCam, and then Candle, we gotta make a height map in Candle, and now we can finally start making our PCB. Okay, and what you're seeing right now is the height map being made. The probe is coming down and touching on each of the points that I put on the computer, and once it probes them, you can see it inputs those values. So if it's too tall or higher than 0, it would input, and if it's lower, it would put it as a negative. And that would literally make a height map, almost like a topography map. This engraving that you're seeing took 6 minutes to make. I did speed it up so, you wouldn't be staring at the screen for 6 minutes, so yeah. You're welcome. As soon as it got done, I went ahead and put alcohol on a paper towel and cleaned it off just to come and see that it all went to poop. If you look at it, the traces are not perfect. Some of them are missing chunks, some of them have extra chunks. What I'm assuming it is my height map was too small. I should have added more points. Another thing is maybe I did go a little too ambitious on the size of the traces. They are freaking tiny. Maybe for the next time I will actually look it up on how big they should be. I did not even investigate. I just did it. Oh, and of course, it was flipped. My whole axis on the machine is flipped. So basically it confuses left and right. Yep. Well, this was a great learning experience because I definitely did not manage to produce anything. But I do have a CNC machine now, I guess. I was gonna end the video, but I cannot give up that easily. I'm gonna try one more time, but a little better. Let's try it. So I think I'm gonna call this an 80% success. Why 80? Because I think I dug too deep in my copper contacts and it took them off. So it's actually a non-functional board, but it followed every right direction. Now to fix that mistake, I can just print and make a spring-loaded bit. I am not the first one to make it. So a guy already designed it and he made it commercially free and everything. So if y'all want to go check it out in the description and make your own or buy it from my Etsy shop, link in the description. Now, this one is made out of PLA, which is a big flaw because if I spin it too hard and it heats up, I think it just might split and launch the bit. And I'm not trying to make a gun right now. I'm just trying to make, PCBs. So I'm gonna test ASA. This plastic should be way harder to print, but also way harder and more functional for what I'm trying to use it. It shouldn't explode. I tried many iterations of the ASA, but all of them warp. I spent so much time with it that I'm probably just gonna try ABS or another plastic. And honestly, who knows? Maybe PLA is strong enough. I don't have it to spin it too fast or something, but honestly, I just rather be careful. Unfortunately, this video is gonna have to end early. I'm not gonna be able to make a functioning PCB today, but I will for part 2. Thank you so much for watching. Links in the description for the spring-loaded bit, which is probably the most important part of this video. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you the next time.